Bubba Exotic Motorsports production is brought to you in part by Blog Talk Radio, host of our #1 rated internationally syndicated automotive podcast as heard on the Bubba's Motorsports Network, and by Schumacher Chevrolet, SchumacherAuto.com, Schumacher.com, SchumacherAuto.com, and finally by Robertson Racing LLC.com, RobertsonRacingLLC.com. Visit them for all your lubricant needs.
A full 68 GT 500 styling to this car with the body kit, the packaging, the side exhaust, the front clip on it. That, we're doing a nice style to it. I'd like to call it, what most people recognize as like the Eleanor kits.
It is.
Well, that's not what I'm
way
calling
beyond
this.
that.
Right.
Yeah,
I'm not calling this one the Eleanor, but there's a lot of that Eleanor style body kit incorporated into this. This one's actually different in the fact that it's running a 460 cubic inch big block engine with a set of semi-Hemi heads on it, which is what most people know as the Boss 429. So this is a motor that shouldn't even be in this car because it wasn't even available at the time. And now we're running this 834 horsepower naturally aspirated fuel injected motor hooked up to a 6-speed transmission. All modern performance, but it's going to have the looks and style of the 68.
Let's talk about that for a minute, Bub. A lot of people don't understand how fuel injection works, okay? Let's just give a quick overview of that. Are there benefits to fuel injection, for example?
Oh, for sure. I mean, there's guys out there that'll go all day long, carburetors versus fuel injection, especially when you get into like that race circuit. There's a lot of guys who really lean towards just raw carburetors, just raw fuel dumping in, you get the highest horsepower. There's a lot of people that lean that way, but on the other hand, there's also a lot of guys who lean towards the fuel injection way. It's more responsive, it's crisp, it's more accurate. You can dial in and see everything that's going on. You can see where your temperatures are, how much fuel flow is, when it's happening, how it's happening, what your timing's doing. You can see it all on one entire screen and tune from there.
Right on. I know you build both with carburetors and with fuel injected systems. I mean, do you have a preference one over the other? You're always on the cutting edge of technologies with everything that you do, just as we are here with bringing you this in 4K, all of our new which do you prefer?
Yeah, it's so there was a point, I'd say a couple years back, when fuel injection had just kind of hit the market. I mean, it's been around for a while, but it's to the aftermarket industry, the guys with the older cars, the more modified and custom stuff, the street rods, whatever you want to call it. Those guys have had some bad experiences with fuel injection when they first came out 5 years ago, 6 years ago. It wasn't as good as it is today. Where now today's fuel injection system, and at that point in time, I would have leaned and been like, the injection that's available, I really wouldn't prefer it for your car. I would still run a carburetor assembly. You run a carb, you run the right fuel pump to it, you run the right pressures, you dial in your air-fuel ratios, you set them right, you'll be satisfied with it. But now, with today's injection, what's available today's industry, you can literally, yourself, all of our guys around the shop, anybody.
I don't know if you want me doing it, but
I don't know if I'd say you, but you could probably open the box and see what's going on.
Yeah, exactly.
But there's a lot of now what you say DIY, do it yourself, fuel injection install kits, because they've gotten so compressed and so easy to use. You literally hook up a couple wires, you start it up, you do some basic yes or no questions, and you're good to go.
A lot of people don't know that, Bub, you and I are a father and son team. We're an award-winning car-building father and son team. We've been voted best of for 6 years in a row.
We have.
We had a 6-year Silver Telly award-winning television show. We're working on the new digital platform TV show. Now, you're only 28 years old, Bub. You stepped out of high school after never receiving any formal automotive education. You're amongst the top 3 out in the industry today.
Yeah, it's it's full self-taught.
It's all self-taught. You're very motivated. You're very, very guided. You're very driven. At 28 years old, you have the ability to do with a carburetor what very few people in the world can do anymore. It's an art to set a carburetor up. Take us through that a little bit.
Yeah, it's it's really you have to have an understanding of what you're trying to do. With carburetors, for example, you have to kind of know your basis. Like, what are you trying to do with the car? That's number one. Most importantly, and most guys just go and they think that this goes to our radio show, bigger is always better. Like, you can't just take a 750 CFM carb and drop it on a small block engine. It's not going to.
You and Reggie talked about that on the podcast this week.
So it's, you have to know what engine you're working with, what you're trying to achieve out of this engine, whether it's a street use, whether it's a street to strip use, whether it's just full track use. There's multiple carburetor applications for whatever driving style and your benefit you're trying to do. You just have to take the time and research it. All these companies in today's industry now, whether it's Holley, Edelbrock, Quick Fuel, any of these, you can go on and on and on with carburetors. You can go to their site, you can research it, and they'll tell you, hey, if you're using this engine from this range cubic inch to this range cubic inch, with, you know, maybe what they call mild application. Maybe it's just got an intake upgrade or header upgrade, or extremely modified with camshaft, head, all that stuff. You can click and select each one of those and get the right carburetor style for your car, so that when you do get something out of the box, it's close.
How about, Bub, when you receive a carburetor out of the box, if you're building a carburetor application? I know you don't like them as much because the reliability is not there long distance, or long term, shall I say.
Long term.
But
you're always adjusting.
You're always adjusting. But when you get a carburetor out of the box, do you just take it off and put it on the intake, or what steps do you take, man, as one of the best out there?
Yeah, so I mean, as a professional, as somebody experienced with it, as pretty highly respected in the tuning industry as well, you know, when you get these things out of the box, if you do take that time and do those couple steps that I just mentioned, you know, going to doing the sites, doing the research, seeing what kind of application you're building your car, your carburetor size, your engine size, what you're trying to do, you can order a carb that's going to be close to that setup. Close. They're never going to be perfect for your engine. They're not. Right. They're universal. You have to think that a Edelbrock 600 CFM carb can work on a Ford 289, can work on a Chevrolet 350, can work on a Mopar 400. It can work all across the board. It's up to you as the installer and the tuner to dial it into that engine, whether you have, you know, different exhaust systems, different mufflers, different air cleaners. All that stuff will make a difference and change the way it responds, the way it idles, the way it runs, the way you have response from an off idle. From when you step on it, it comes on smooth, you get a flat spot. You know, there's a lot of things.
Do altitudes make a difference in carbureted applications?
Sure. Yeah.
Does it make a difference in fuel injected applications?
Yep. Yeah, it's one of those things where your altitude, wherever you live, can change everything about your tuning, your fuel mixtures, what kind of fuel you have to run. And that's where the carburetors get a little bit more intense in terms of tuning, because you have to tune per your area, per your application, and your weather. All of these things come into play in what you're trying to do. And fuel injection systems, for example, you get a nice tune that's going to self-monitor off of its own sensors. So it knows how to run. It literally uses the oxygen sensors, engine coolant temperatures, so it knows everything that's going on, what the air temperature is coming into the motor, to monitor those settings, go through all of them, and then adjust and dial in from there, so you have the most efficient, reliable tune as you're driving.
Well, that's really good technical information. That's one of the things we'll be bringing to everybody here is technical stuff.
Yep.
Along with, we're going to be sharing and interacting with people who write into us. We had a gentleman yesterday, Bud, who wanted to ask while we were live on the air, what about nitrogen in tires, Bud? What's the difference? Because we talked a little bit about the Corvette that you're building over there. I think that's going to be finished today.
Yep.
Nitrogen, oxygen, one way or the other, preference? Is it worth it?
I mean, that's one of those things that, yeah, it's good. It's good all the way across the board for the environment, for your tires, your ride quality. But on the downside, so you have some pluses, some pros, the cons to it. You can only stop at certain areas and get air. If your tires are getting low, you can't just, you know, maybe you have one tire that's going low. Most gas stations, most service stations, just right while you're cruising down the road, don't offer nitrogen. Okay. So there's certain areas you kind of have to go to. The other benefit, or the other con to it, I guess you could say, is a lot of guys in the aftermarket world don't prefer using that. They, you know, there's guys that go out to the track that change their pressures literally 10 times every couple runs. Sure. They're changing them around. So it would just be something that would get expensive and costly to do. And
Bob, let's talk a little bit about, there's a lot of great things going on. We're very, very proud to announce that we are the #1 rated internationally syndicated automotive podcast in the world through the Blog Talk Radio platform, with Amy DeMesco and everybody holding our hands over there, getting this off. It's never been done before. The Bubba's Motorsports Network has officially been launched. Amy will be getting it up on Blog Talk Radio. We'll have a series of automotive podcasts, or motorsports podcasts, right? Motorcycle, truck, car, all of it.
All the way across the board,
underneath of it. It's another industry first. It's never been done before. And we're very, very excited to share that with everybody and let them know about that.
We'll have a super good time with it. Just stay tuned for everything we've got coming. We're going to be doing a lot of this 4K video updates, both here,
every day,
the media, Instagram, Twitter, our website, bubbasexoticmotorsports.com. You follow us there. Our Instagram is updated literally every day, every couple hours of stuff that's going on, custom rides, exotics, whether it be upholstery, whether it be in our paint and body department. We literally send out something from every one of our departments just so people can stay in touch with us.
Yeah, and Bub, I was talking to Neil London. You guys, everybody out there, check out supercarweek.com, supercarweek.com. It's 1 week of the most exotic cars. I was talking to one of our sponsors yesterday, Jeff Hastings over at Schumacher Chevrolet. That's Schumacher Chevrolet, SCHUMACHER. We actually buy our vehicles from them. They're good guys, man. They are going to be coming to you. We're in negotiations for this year's Supercar Week. They're going to be coming to you with a Camaro or Corvette, whichever you want. I think a Camaro is what you like to build a lot of horsepower out of. You're going to be doing a Bubba Edition Schumacher Camaro that will be on display this year at Supercar Week. We're going to be bringing in the sponsors with like big sponsors, Core Wheels, Bud Robertson. All of these guys are going to come in, and we'll have that car on display with some of our exotics.
So stay tuned for it. It's going to be another ignorant build.
Yeah, it's going to be another ignorant build. You just finished that one ZL1 that put out 900 horsepower or something like that, man.
At the tires on pump gas.
Wow, that thing's ignorant, man. That thing really is ignorant. So, ladies and gentlemen, we look forward to bringing this to you every day from 11:05, 11:05 to 11:10, something like that. Please join us on the Bubba's Motorsports Network at Bubba's Exotic Motorsports.com. We are also every Saturday morning live on the podcast, the #1 rated internationally syndicated automotive podcast in the world on the Blog Talk Radio platform. It's heard on iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker FM, Blueberry, everywhere.
It's everywhere.
It's everywhere, man.
Virtually everywhere.
It's everywhere. And Steve Tomaszewski will be on our platform and everything. It's going to be a good time, man.
So then until next week, until tomorrow, actually.
Until tomorrow. It's not
Let's
next
do
week.
Tomorrow,
We're used to doing it at the radio show.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it. Jeff and all the guys over at Schumacher, thanks for all they do for us. We really appreciate it. Bud Robertson, thank you for all you guys do for us. Thanks to all our sponsors. Thanks to all of you out there for making all of this possible. We'll see you tomorrow. Until then, Bub.
Keep doing it Bubba style.
Let's keep on doing it Bubba style.